Hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Digital Contractor. I am super pumped to have our guest today, JJ Harris. JJ is the product manager and director of awesomeness at GeoRipper. How you doing, JJ?
I am doing great, Kris. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure, man. You're doing me a huge favor. Can you tell me a little bit about the business? Like, how long have you guys been around?
Well, GeoRipper has been around since about March of 2016. The company Mini Trencher, we've actually been around since 2014 in the United States. And the concept of the product's been around for almost 20 years now overseas, mostly in like New Zealand, Australia area. So we've been around for a little while, but the concept and the product's been around for a long time.
Why would you say it's been a little slow to get to this market?
A little slow to get to this market? Because to be honest, it got stuck on the islands over there in New Zealand and Australia. It really didn't have to do with us. Our owner probably sat on it for a year and a half, almost 2 years before he really put it in the ground and saw how great and groundbreaking, pun intended, that the product could be.
Right. Well, I fell in love with it as soon as I saw it. It's a holy cow. I love it. So, normally we talk to contractors about their approximate revenue or size and stuff, and that really doesn't fit here. Can you tell me a little bit about the explosive growth that GeoRipper's had?
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of years, that's exactly what it's been. It's been explosive growth. I've been with the company since October 2016, so just after we introduced GeoRipper, and we've got a 5 times growth in the last 3 years. So it's been every year it's been different. It's been acceptance to approval to just now it's, why don't I have one? It's just the best time to be in the business, to be honest.
That's exciting, super exciting time. So with that growth, I'd imagine you guys have had to crew up. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been a startup, so it's kind of interesting. Startups are kind of fun because you bring in pieces like chess pieces and you hope they stick around and stay, and some come and some go. So we started out with just me and a guy in the warehouse. That guy in the warehouse turned into our marketing manager over time. I had to get another guy into the warehouse. Then we got another salesman. Then our marketing guy left for greener pastures. He thought, I hope they were for him. And then our next sales guy, to be honest, he just went. We brought in a whole new crew. Because we're in a different stage of growth at this point in time. It needs different types. And so it's been sad to see them go, but it's been awesome to see the new guys come in and do what they need to do as well.
Right. The evolution of the company has different needs going forward. Exactly. Definitely. So tell me a little bit about the services. Do you sell directly to the consumer? Do you sell to dealers? Do you offer, maintenance?
Sure.
Bring me up to speed.
So the answer is yes to everything. We sell direct online at minitrencher.com. We have a dealer network across North America, basically, United States and Canada. We have distribution. We have some international distribution too. We do take care of servicing the product when needed. But the best part about GeoRipper is that it uses a nationally available engine with the Makita engine that we use. So you can actually take it straight into a Makita service center anywhere in the country, and they'll fix it. We have an agreement with them. The warranty's through us, through GeoRipper, but Makita will fix them if the engine's messed up for any reason.
That's awesome. And that really helps put some fears to rest, right? That you're using such a high quality product and building off that platform.
Yeah, the Makita engine, you got choices when it comes to outdoor power equipment to choose for an engine. And what we found was that the Makita engine had the least issues that we found over time. And so it was like, yeah, we'll go with those guys. And they were awesome that they wanted to work with us as well. So it was just like, perfect. This is great. So blue and green all over the place.
If you're going to warranty something, make sure it's going to be something easy to warranty.
Yeah, make sure right? You want to warranty it,
right? So who's the ideal market? Usually we talk about geographical areas, but you just hit on that. Like, who can really benefit from this product?
Well, our first and oldest demographic is the irrigation professional, the guy who's having to dig lines, move heads, that sort of thing. It's the irrigation guy. He can benefit the greatest from it. After that, landscape lighting, and other landscape adjacent digging jobs. So plumbers, electricians, stuff that, to be honest, the landscaper is now getting contracted to do. The plumber and the electrician aren't digging their own ditches. They're having someone else do it. So you can really expand on that and do it a lot faster and get paid the same amount. The big one's erosion control. Putting silt fencing into the ground, because it has to go like 6 inches into the ground. Using this where you can't get anything else nearby has drastically changed how long it takes to install silt fencing pretty much everywhere in the country.
That's amazing. I love it. Such a force multiplier too, right? Just to have it in the truck has to save hours and hours and hours.
Having it in the truck, it usually saves the guy somewhere between 30 and 50%.
Wow.
In labor costs. It's awesome.
Wow. Well, and back claims too, right?
Yeah.
Easier on the body.
Yeah. Yeah. It's better than a shovel or a pick and a shovel or a jackhammer, depending on where you live in the country, for sure. We've seen it all.
Absolutely. Well, we're looking forward to hearing more from you, JJ. We're going to go to a quick break and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back on Turfs Up Radio with JJ Harris, the product manager at GeoRipper. JJ, we're so thankful to have you here. So we talked a little bit about how the business got started. Can you give me a little bit more of a background? You know, what made the executive team really decide and the owners really decide to get into this and run hard with this product?
You know, it's the same as the contractor when he decides to buy the product. We put it in the ground. We saw what it could do. Like I said, our owner had it sitting underneath his desk for probably 1.5 years, never touched it. It's just like some guy that he knew in New Zealand said, you got to look at this thing. It's incredible. And he was like, okay. And he put it underneath his desk, sat there for 1.5 years, and then he put it in the ground and he was like, okay, yeah, we got to do this. And we've been running ever since with it because of it.
Was tired of kicking it, so he thought he'd do something about it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's just sitting there. It's like, oh, I should probably, you know, at least look at it.
It's funny how the best ideas come out that way, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about irrigation professionals, lighting and erosion control being great customers for you. Can you expand a little bit on that and, you know, why it's such a good fit for them?
Yeah, well, I got a good example, actually. I've got an irrigation professional in Oklahoma. He had to do a job where he was switching his sprinkler heads from the regular old school ones to a water saver one by one of the big companies. And he had to move some of the heads for coverage about 1 foot to 3 feet. And he had 50 total heads, but he only had to move 12 of them. The job saved he used a GeoRipper and it saved about an hour per head on that job. And he was paying his guy the equivalent of $60 an hour. So he saved, what was it? I mean, he saved a good 12 man hours just by having the GeoRipper versus having to hand dig it, but with a shovel. And he saved, what is that? It's like $720, almost $800 in labor costs because of it.
One job.
One job. That was one job. You know, some jobs are bigger, some jobs are smaller, but it was just that whole thing of, wow. I mean, I didn't realize it until I had these guys tell me this. It's like, you don't understand how much time we're saving or how many more jobs we can add in the day. Because I only get 14 hours a day, as we know the landscaper works, right? You know, there's only so many hours in the day, and if they can throw another job in there, they get paid more. That's just how math works.
Well, especially in seasonal areas, you know, the Northeast where it's a bum rush, you have to get the work done. They don't realize the toll physically working hard takes on your crew every day. So work hard and smart. That way you can work hard the entire season and not worry about your top guy being down because he got mad at the new guy and went over there with a pick, right?
Well, and we know that also that when you have that pick and shovel work, the employees know what's on the schedule for the next day. And all of a sudden, sometimes you see that one guy who all of a sudden he's sick the next day because it was going to be heavy shovel work. With GeoRipper, you don't need that anymore. So, you know, one guy's doing the job of 3 sometimes, and it's just, why wouldn't you do it? I got a guy in California, he's got 3 crews, but only 1 GeoRipper. The crews hide the GeoRipper from each other. So they get it once it's in their hands for sure.
Right, definitely. Well, and I think, I mean, labor being such a concern for every contractor across a country, you need a force multiplier, you know.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, that guy that'll show up. Can you tell me a little bit about what your USP, your unique selling proposition is?
Yeah, I mean, the unique selling proposition is, we've kind of been talking about it. It's 30 to 50% labor savings. It's, you know, how does the contractor want to expand his business? Does he want to put more, does he have to hire more guys, or can he just get more work done with the guys he has? And nowadays it's really, really hard to find that guy that'll stick around for the whole season. So why not buy a machine that will do it for you? 2 machines that'll do it for you. Heck, they should buy 3 machines that'll do it for them. But I'm biased.
They've got 2 hands.
They got 2 hands. They can do it. It's fine.
Absolutely. Well, then that sets them up to be able to pay a higher rate for better guys, because a guy wants to stick around and he doesn't have to worry about, you know.
That field labor becomes specialized labor all of a sudden. He knows how to use that machine. And so it's not just, here, I need a guy that can handle a shovel. It's, I trained this guy to use this machine. He uses it the best. I can't afford to have him go away anymore. So I'll pay him more because he's worth it.
And crushing out enough work to justify the expense, right?
Exactly.
Absolutely. So is that how you position yourself with the customer? We're going to save you time and money and back pain?
That's one of the main things that we have to talk to the end user about as the operator, is that, yeah, it's about time and it's about money. And that's what from everybody we talk to, that's what they're most concerned about. I don't have enough time, or I'm not making enough money. Well, if we can help with one, both, the other, it's a great way to go. The better part about it is, your field labor that you just turned into specialized labor, he doesn't need a truck in order to move this around. This will go in the back of his Civic if he needs to, with the cart.
Right. And it's not riding a mechanical bull like some of the other walk behind trenchers out there.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. You don't have to be huge to use this. In fact, I've had, below 100-pound women out demoing the machine just to show those guys up of like, yeah, you guys can use it. It's not a big deal. So it's been great.
Right. I need to see that content. Well, we're going to take a quick break on Turfs Up Radio, and we're going to be back with more nuggets of wisdom from JJ Harris from GeoRipper. Thank you.
Thanks.
We are back with JJ Harris from GeoRipper. We were just talking about on the break going down to the irrigation show, and they're super excited about that. They can roll with the punches. Can you tell us a little bit, JJ, about your marketing overview? Like, what types of marketing do you do, and what's in your general mix?
Our marketing's really, I'll be honest, in the last 3 years have been really eclectic. We've tried just about everything that we could think of without having a professional marketer in-house. And what we found is that we've done direct mailing, we've done lists that we've done cold calling onto, we've gone trade shows, online marketing, social media, you name it. Most of it we've tried to varying degrees of success for sure.
I've never had a lot of luck with just cold calling. And I mean, that's in digital marketing, that's kind of the nature of the beast. Yeah. Everybody's getting hounded nonstop from everybody. I just like to provide value and work that way. So which marketing efforts are driving the most leads for you right now?
Partnerships actually probably drive the most leads for us right now. We've been really heavy in expanding our dealer network. So those leads have been dealership leads, that sort of thing. Our end user leads, that's a whole nother segment. That would be more trade show. Trade show is definitely where we get most of our leads from in the last year, at least.
I love how you guys have both, end user and the dealer model. I love that. It just makes so much sense to me. Now, maybe a little bit of a secret sauce. Which marketing channel is delivering the most profit for you? Which one's the best?
Just the dealers themselves is what brings in the most profit. They're a workforce that we don't, we pay in a different way.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So you've tried a bunch of, eclectic is the word that I heard.
Yes.
Let's talk about what hasn't worked. Like what have you guys done and you just said, can't do it anymore?
You know, the thing that I think we've tried a lot of different weird digital marketing things. Weird ones, I think, is what they were. They sounded great at the time. It's like, oh yeah, we'll do this. You know, we've done some geofencing. It's had mixed results, mainly because you just don't know who's going to walk through that invisible line. We've done some following from our own website type stuff where it's supposed to help out. And again, we don't know who's coming and going. And so we spend a lot of money chasing after guys that aren't the right guy in the first place and that sort of thing. So that's kind of the things I can think of off the top of my head that just haven't worked for us properly.
Yeah, I'm personally not a huge fan of geofencing for trying to sell a product or a show or something. You know,
Yeah.
Oftentimes you're running ads at the guy's 14-year-old daughter that he dragged along to the show.
Yeah, she's really interested in getting a GeoRipper, by the way. She really wants
Probably.
one. Really wants one. Can't afford it, but she'd love to have one.
I was talking to Eric Jones, the turf teacher, about TikTok. Maybe there's something in your future there.
Yeah. Perfect.
So traditionally, are you guys doing a direct mailer that's working for you, or are you adding something like a value add that your dealers could do? Are you reinforcing their efforts that way?
We're trying to this year's all been about reinforcing the dealer to get the product. So we've really pushed all of our end user leads into our dealers. We've pushed all of our resources this year into the dealers that we've had. Time will only tell if that was the right move to make or not, but it's been beneficial this year. We've had great growth because of it. Next year is where we have to focus back on the end user and telling the guys, hey, go into those stores that we set up last year and buy product, please, because we got to make sure that it proof of life sort of thing. You got to choose that it's going to work.
Right. At the end of the day, we have to make money.
Exactly. And we all do. The dealers have to make money. We have to make money. And the end user for sure. If they're not making money, why buy the product?
So we've got a little bit more time in this segment. I want to jump a little bit into your content creation model. Everybody I talk to that's had a GeoRipper loves it.
Mm-hmm.
How, right? Are they sending you videos of them or photo, like crowdsourced content for your social media or your other promotional stuff?
You know, our trade show booth until this last year, that's all it was. It was content created by the end user, by our GeoRipper Nation that we put in there. So yeah, but we would have to scour Instagram and Facebook and find that stuff. It wasn't necessarily coming directly to us. We're working more and more to try to get that content to come straight to us and hopefully in a format we can better use. Everybody wants to hold their phone straight up and down, and we keep asking them, please hold it sideways so we can put it on the full screen of the TV instead of having black bars all over the place. But
that's
yeah,
just great ad space.
It's great ad space. Exactly. Good point.
I would like to point out, when you send in your photos of your crew being awesome with it, don't send us photographical evidence of them committing OSHA violations.
Please.
Maybe that's a thank you package we put together. Some GeoRipper PPE that we send out. I can get behind that. Okay, so GeoRipper Nation, what is best case, JJ, for them to use a hashtag or let you guys know?
Hashtag GeoRipper Nation lets us know right away that we know that they're out there. You can, I'm not sure, depending on the social media, you can add us, at whatever it happens to be, Instagrams. They're weird. Some of them are weird. We kind of grabbed what we could. So, it's mini trencher _ GeoRipper sometimes, and it's the opposite other times. But that's social media for you. Someone else grabbed your name for some reason and you're trying to get it back and it never happens as well as you want.
Right. Phooey. So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. if you get some just amazing content coming in that was crowdfunded, you know, like you guys didn't have to pay for, they bring it in. Are you willing to give them a shout out on some of your pages or something? Tag them back to
Oh,
the
heck
business?
yeah. We'll shout out to them. We love it when they show up when we've seen them on screen and social media, and then they show up at a trade show in front of us. We're like, oh, you are a real person. We've always got swag and stuff like that we can get out as well. We got our GeoRipper t-shirts. I don't have one near me right now, but if you've seen it, everybody out there's seen it, it's a Grim Reaper with a GeoRipper across his back pointing at you straight on the back of the shirt. That's, you know, one of our favorite shirts right now is that one right there. So we got plenty of them out here. We would love to hand them out to people that are looking to show us how great their GeoRipper is.
Just slaying work. I love it. We have to take another quick break here, but we're going to be back shortly with JJ Harris, and we're going to really dive in. I'm going to push him hard. I'm Kris, your host of the Digital Contractor on Turfs Up Radio. We're back with JJ Harris from GeoRipper. So this is the proof that we're actually people and that we actually care about our communities and you know, our culture, I guess would be a good way to put it, all the way around. JJ, can you tell us about a standout project or a cause that's near and dear to your heart? You know, how everybody else can get involved and contribute? You know,
one of the causes that we have actually, you know, put dollars to donuts onto is the Independence Fund. It helps to help out vets that have come back that might need some help. I know that we helped with a wheelchair of some sort, but it was like a hunting wheelchair. It wasn't, you know, motorized hunting one that could go off road and stuff like that to help out guys. And so we appreciate that and what they do there. Independencefund.org is where they're at. So if you wanted to check them out, you can certainly do that. We shout out to them for sure. You can go to our website, minitrencher.com. At the bottom, it says Independence Fund. You can click right there if you need to as well, if you don't get it written down. But we really appreciate what they're doing to try to help out the vets. We're always trying to figure out the best way to help out men and women in the service and in the military when they come back on how best we can help them out. The other thing is we like to support Irrigation Association and the American Rental Association and whatever they're doing at the time. I know they've got some really great programs of helping out people and other organizations that they help as well. And we're members of them, so we like to make sure that they're doing good work as well. So we like to shout out to them as well.
How did you guys get hooked up with the Independence Fund?
You know, the owner of Mini Trencher, I think he saw that there was a need and wanted to help out more than anything else. And so we did. We talked about it and said, yeah, this is worth putting money towards. So we did it. And we're small enough we can make the decisions like that.
Right.
Which is great.
It's always nice seeing a company put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
And doing stuff like that. And I know that, you know, mobility is a huge issue with our returning men and women. You know, it's our job to make sure that they don't get stuck in the house and just wither, right?
Yeah, and more than just don't get stuck in the house anymore. The technology's out there that they don't have to just be able to be mobile so they can go to the store or go to church or get down to wherever they want to go. They should be able to go wherever they want to go. And so if it's hunting out in the wilderness and go off-roading in their chair because they can't do it any other way, then they should get to do that for sure. They've done plenty already. They should get to do what they want.
Is there going to be a GeoRipper attachment?
You know, R&D is always looking at lots of possibilities. Get back to you when something comes up.
I'm just angling for a side gig, man. That's all. So how much of your social media goes into, you know, that? I'll be honest, I don't see an awful lot coming across that. It's almost like you guys want to be very humble about the giving. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, we are not. I mean, I can't turn around and go, yeah, we're humble. That you know, that's the least humble thing we can do. Right. But I think when you said it before, it's nice to see when a company will put their money where their mouth is. We'd rather just take care of them. It's not something that we've even thought about using as a marketing ploy or anything like that, other than we want people to know about it. So we've got their badge on our website so that people can go to it if they're interested.
And that's independencefund.org, right?
Correct. Independencefund.org.
Well, I have no qualms telling the world about it, and that they should go over there and help out.
They certainly should do that. Whether we help or not, they should certainly do that regardless.
Right. Okay, folks, we're going to take another quick break here on the Digital Contractor Show on Turf's Up Radio. And when we come back, we're going to really dive into the digital focus with JJ Harris of GeoRipper. We are back with the Digital Contractor Show on Turf's Up Radio, and I've got the always awesome JJ Harris from GeoRipper, and we're going to talk about digital marketing. Imagine that on the Digital Contractor Show. So, JJ, this one's a big one. Do you have any special initiatives going on for online reviews?
At the moment, we do not have any special initiatives. It's something that we've been thinking about and talking about, but right now, no, we don't. And we probably, to be perfectly honest, we probably should.
I do know that you guys are a great company, and I would like to point out to everybody listening, and reputation management's a huge thing. And, you know, people think that 4.7 star rating is more authentic than 5-star. Nobody does everything. But I know people that have an extremely good experience, and they just say, I don't leave 5 stars ever. They couldn't have done anything better. I just don't leave 5 stars. So, you know, where you guys aren't buying reviews, and don't do that. Certainly don't incentivize to the audience. So I want to dive into social media. I'd like to know, you know, which ones are the big ones for you guys? Where are you putting your energy? What you've got coming up? Like, just hit me with it.
Instagram. Instagram seems to be the social media of choice for landscapers and irrigation professionals out there. And I don't blame them. The ability to show before and after pictures of their work is, I mean, that's 2,000 words, right? If a picture is worth 1,000. So we have in the past focused a lot on Instagram to the point where, you know, we made sure that we were putting something out there into the ethos, into the ether, once a day. Previous marketing managers, things like that. Once a day we had something, no matter what it was. We've got a great, I remember one of them being that I had to take a picture of our marketing manager with GeoRipper stickers across his face, holding 2 GeoRippers, you know, across his body. And the tagline on it was that there are no words, you know, or something like that. You know, he was just like, we don't have to talk about it. We'll show you how it works, how great it works. Things like that. It's worked for us. And then it became I don't think anything ever became viral with it, or anything is going viral with what we do necessarily. But there was the GeoRipper Nation that showed up, where we had people who were like, yeah, I bought one, I'm in North Carolina. And then another guy's like, yeah, I've got one, and I'm in Kansas City, Missouri. And then the next thing you know, the two of them are talking to each other about best practices on, hey, what do you do when this happens? And what do you do when that happens? And we got to kind of sit back and just watch a community evolve, not really out of anything that we tried to do, just out of us trying to get our own word out there, our own name out there for people to know. I think we need to do a lot more of that. I think that if anything, we need someone to concentrate just to get that out there to keep the momentum going more than anything else. It's great brand awareness, I think, is social media. And I think it's a good selling platform for once you've got your name out there and people are like also saying, it's that part of that reputation management. They're saying behind your back, yeah, the company's awesome and the product's awesome. And, you know, we've had some harsh reviews when it comes to reviews on Amazon and things like that. Mostly about our chains not lasting as long as people want them to last, or as long as they should last. And we try to reach out to them as best we can. It's really hard when it's you know, there's still anonymity when it comes to the internet. And so you've got a username and you're like, maybe you know them, maybe you don't know them. And you try to talk to them. We've had pretty good relationships with those people coming back. They don't always update their reviews. our chains don't always last as long as they're supposed to. That's the crux of it. That seems to be the biggest criticism we get, is that the digging chain won't last and it costs a lot of money. And it does. It does cost a lot of money. And sometimes they don't last as long as they're supposed to. But what we have found is that a lot of people, they last longer than they need them to in order to be able to pay for them over 2-3 times over. And there are exceptions to the rules. We try to make sure and take care of those guys, the exceptions, as best as we can. And we're always trying to improve them specifically for those guys. So, you know, if you see a bad review, that's because we've actually sold enough units that people are criticizing them now. I actually love when the bad reviews come in, because it just means that we've sold enough that we haven't been able to educate every single person on our product that's bought a machine.
That's how you know you're winning, right?
Yep.
You start getting haters.
That's right.
100%. 100%. Well, how much of that is soil? You know, if they're trying to rip through concrete or caliche or permafrost, you know, how much of that is?
I mean, it's almost all. It's always about abrasives. You know, a lot of people want to complain that their soil's really rocky, and so the chain's going to wear out. Chains don't wear out because of rocks. They wear out because of sand. They wear out because of limestone or I don't know, all sorts of things that are just abrasive. And so what we have to do is we have to turn around and just
be abrasive.
I'm watching. You just got to be abrasive sometimes, and you know, no, you don't have to be abrasive, but it's abrasive. It wears the things out and wears it out faster. But what's your alternative? That's the biggest thing. What's the alternative?
Right. Well, and that could be figured into the modeling too. Like if you know that your soil is going to do X, Y, Z to the chain, you can work that into the modeling.
You can work it into the model. You can either put it into the bid if you need to. You have to realize what were you going to do before? So let's say that it's caliche. And yes, our chains don't necessarily last as long in caliche as they do in loamy soil up in like Baltimore, Maryland, okay? Where they last forever almost. Well, yeah, but what were you using before? A pick, a shovel, a jackhammer? We hear people complain all the time about the big trenchers having problems as well in those areas. Well, if that's the case, how much time are you spending by hand in order to do it? How much time are you going to spend doing it with a GeoRipper? The answer, hopefully, is it takes less time. And if it takes less time, there's value added.
Right. Well, we kind of went down a little rabbit hole with that, but
Yes,
I wanted to make sure that you had enough time to identify that. You know, I believe in wholeheartedly in your product, and I wanted to make sure that everybody, you know, got the first look. And can you tell me really quick where you want people sending you their content, and that you'll give them shout out and video or photo credit on Instagram and all that jazz? You want it on the Instagram feed?
Yeah, you can throw it to our Instagram feed, which, like I said, I am, and I apologize. I believe it is mini trencher _ GeoRipper, but it could be reversed. It could be GeoRipper _ mini trencher. So Instagram's awesome. You can email straight to info@minitrencher.com and send stuff that way if you want to. We're going to throw it, you know, we'll make sure and get it up there so other people can see what's going on, who it is that's doing it, where you guys are located, and who knows, maybe that gets to your next customer. That is
no OSHA violations.
No OSHA violations. Wear your PPE. You should be wearing at least eye protection and ear protection, but gloves. Gloves are good, really good. Even a steel toe shoe is a good idea, and we like full face shields, not just safety glasses. You get debris every once in a while. It happens. It happened to me.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break here on the Digital Contractor Show on Turf's Up Radio, and when we come back, we're going to get into a little bit more with JJ Harris. We are back on the Digital Contractor Show on Turf's Up Radio with JJ Harris, the Director of Awesomeness at GeoRipper. We're going to dive right into hindsight here. JJ, what are the top 3 things that you wish you knew when you started? For marketing.
For marketing specifically, I gotcha. Number one, just how important the follow-up is of the marketing. Number 2, the effectiveness of social media when you do it consistently. A lot of this has to do with consistency. I think they're probably all going to be consistent. And then third, put your information into your CRM so you know what you're doing with those guys afterwards. Don't lose them. Just, you got them, make sure you keep them. That's probably number 1 is on the follow through side is, you know, if you get a person who's interested in it, you got to make sure to put them in your CRM. If you're using one, if you're not using one, I don't care what CRM is being used. I mean, if it's an Excel spreadsheet at first, it doesn't matter. It just needs to be, you need to have a area where it all goes together. And as we've grown bigger with more people, you find it becomes more and more crucial for the marketing to make sure that who they've grabbed gets in there so sales knows that they're supposed to actually talk to somebody and how to follow through with it. And when it doesn't get put in because it takes too much time or I don't want to spend the time to do it, you lose them. And you find out you talk to them three years later and they're like, yeah, I wanted to buy one, but you never talked to me again. And it's like, we did? Oh no. That was dumb of us. So it's happened. It happens a lot.
For those of our audience out there that are wondering, CRM is customer relationship management. Like, you don't want to have to rely on your brain to hold every lead or customer detail from the job site in your head. It's where you would make job notes for locates, or, you know, they've got a septic tank. You're not going to remember that in 3 years potentially, and you need to make that simple for yourself and do that.
You know, the hard part about all of that, just to add to it, is that when I first started, I kept everything in my head because it was just me. And I didn't have to worry about anybody else knowing what I was doing necessarily because it was just me. You get more and more people, you try to grow your business, it's not just you anymore. And they start asking you questions. You're like, why don't you know that? Oh yeah, that's right. It's in my head. That's my fault. So yeah, get it written down somewhere, get best practices, especially with the marketing too.
Right. Absolutely. So, put you on the spot. What's the biggest marketing mistake that you've learned the most from?
2018, we dumped 20 grand, I think, into this one company to try out some kind of new wave digital marketing that was going to make us all this money. And it turned out to really just be SEO. So they managed to get a whole bunch of people who didn't know anything about our company or care to come to our website. So we had huge amount of new users coming to our website and then a whole bunch of bouncing, you know? So it was like, they were like, look at all the people we brought to you. And we're like, yeah, you brought a ton of people to me, but none of them are qualified to actually be here. We've gotten a little more skeptical when people come and tell us that they've got the big thing, the new big thing. And we've gotten a little more due diligence on trying to figure that out to make sure that what they want to do and what we want to do are the same thing.
Well, I think everybody out there can relate to spending $20,000 on having to answer the phone for a bunch of people that are never going to buy.
Right. If you're even lucky to have it go that far as to answer the phone.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's not even that far.
What was the biggest marketing happy accident? The one thing that you had no idea was going to work out and it just did.
You know, I think that we're in the middle of it right now. And it's, believe it or not, it's cold calling on a script to dealers. Sorry, I know you're like, come on, go cold calling is no good. Cold calling works when you script it properly and you have a list that you know is good. That's the only time that it's going to be worthwhile to really go after it. But what we're finding, and this is a little off from the contractor side, But what we're finding is that on the dealer side, at least, a lot of them are old school. They talk on the phone still. And so calling them up, asking them a few questions is actually giving us some really good results right now. Whereas we've previously gone through like direct email or just trying to get email addresses to contact people, and they don't use their email enough to be able to do it. So it's knowing your audience, I think, is more than anything else, is the happy accident on it, is learning what works and what doesn't work for the audience you're trying to go after at the time.
So what do you say to a new contractor that's trying to really up his game and next level his business?
What I tell them is it's, believe it or not, at the very beginning, it's about hard work. He's got to outperform everybody at that point in time, and be passionate about it. You know, a job and a passion are two different things. And if you're a contractor out there trying to do your thing, you got to be passionate about it. If you're just looking to make a paycheck, that's not what you're doing right now. Owning an own business has to be a passion for sure. And you got to do it that way. And talk to everybody. Assume that everybody wants your service for what you're doing. Stop assuming, pre-qualifying people just by looking at them, because you don't know who's looking to have whatever it is that in the green industry that you do, whatever it is you do, whether you're irrigation or you're a landscape lighting guy, you may find out that guy that you're going, nah, he's not interested at all. He's never going to be interested. He may be looking exactly for that right then and there, and you don't know anything about him. So don't assume.
Don't say no for them.
Don't say no for them. Exactly.
Could be your best customer. Absolutely. Well, and one of the quotes I really love, entrepreneurs are the only people that'll work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 for someone else.
Right. Exactly.
So we're going to take another quick break here on the Digital Contractor Show on Turfs Up Radio. And we're going to be back after the break to finish it up with our guest, JJ Harris from GeoRipper. We are back on the Digital Contractor Show on Turfs Up Radio with JJ Harris from GeoRipper. We're going to talk a little bit about the events that are important to him, and we're going to let him give us some nuggets of wisdom and anything else that he'd like to share, and then how our listeners can contact him while we close the show out. JJ, what do you got?
Last few nuggets. I'm trying to scratch my head after giving all those great ones before the break. I think it's always something that I've learned in the last couple of years. Hire guys that can do stuff better than you can. Don't worry about, I mean, it's your job, it's your business. So don't worry about that. And even if it's not, if you're the manager of a multi-crew contracting company or something like that, hire guys that are better at something than you are, so that you guys all can look better at, good about it. It's just the way you should do it. It's the Henry Ford model, really, is what it is. He did okay for himself, so I'm going to follow it.
Right. Knows a thing or two about making $1.
He seemed to do okay.
Well, how can our listeners get a hold of you? What's best case for them to reach out to you?
Well, GeoRipper.com is of course, you want to see our stuff. You want to get there. You can go to GeoRipper.com, see everything we've got, and we've got contact forms and stuff like that if you want to get on there and see. We've got a big promotion going right now that you buy a GeoRipper before the end of the year, you get 2 additional free chains when you fill out the warranty card. So that can be almost $600 in stuff if you take advantage of it. And it's a good thing to take advantage of right now, because it's tax season. We're coming up to tax season where you got to spend that money before Uncle Sam gets it at the end of the year. So if you're looking to, you don't need to buy another truck. You could always buy, 12 GeoRippers or something like that. I don't know. How about 1? We'll start with 1 and see where it goes. But you can always do that. We want to definitely, I think one of the things that I'd really like to see is, I'd like to see the guys who have GeoRippers already send stuff to info@minitrencher.com. That's MINITRENCHER, minitrencher.com. Send that to the email, send it to Instagram, minitrencher_GeoRipper, send it to our GeoRipper Facebook page. But more importantly, I'd like to see the guys, if you don't have a GeoRipper yet, but you're interested in it, send us pictures of the jobs you're working on right now with a shovel, and with the question or the hashtag, can GeoRipper do it better? And then let us put those out there, and then we'll say, you know, if we used a GeoRipper, we could do this, or if we used a GeoRipper, we could do that. And let's get shout outs for all those guys who don't have GeoRippers yet, but want them. And, you know, so I don't just want the contractors who have them. I want to see everything. I want to see all your jobs, all your stuff. Send a picture, make sure your PPE is on, and send it to info@minitrencher.com, or tag us, hashtag GeoRipperNation on your favorite social media. And we'll answer as fast as we possibly can.
I love it. GeoRipper building community and here to help. That's perfect. Well, JJ, I just want to thank you so much for being a guest on the Digital Contractor Show here on Turfs Up Radio. I know the entire Turfs Up family loves you guys. We love your product, and we can't wait to see you do great things.
We appreciate it. Thanks, Kris. Thanks a lot.